Here we are, episode 7 in our 4 foot by 4 foot sweatbox.
And it's already nearly 1 a.m. because we've been sat here for hours debating all the wonderful things that go on in the world. Right, this evening we've got Gino D'Acampo, mental tips, emails.
Short and sweet.
Let's get it on.
This podcast should last about 5 minutes. All right, first up,
Gino D'Acampo.
Oh, the loudmouth Italian.
So we started on episode 1 with Greg Wallace. Some said it was a strong entry. We've let him be. We haven't checked back in on him, to be fair, but now Gino's at it. Again, polarising opinions. People, what happened, what didn't happen, who did he upset, what didn't he do?
Oh, shall I say, who is she and what's her problem?
I mean, you could say that. I've got, hold on, let me just find, I got this nice little video here. I'm going to put this on. Hold on, listen to this and we'll go back from it.
And the TV chef Gino D'Acampo has denied dozens of allegations made in a new ITV documentary of inappropriate...
Be interesting to watch the documentary, wouldn't it?
...of television shows. Sky's Shaman Freeman-Powell joins me now live. Morning to you, Shaman.
To her voice.
Tell us more what the documentary alleges and what Mr D'Acampo says in response.
Well, as you say, these allegations have come to light via an ITV documentary. ITV, of course, being one of the main broadcasters, which airs many of the programmes that Gino D'Acampo is known for. Of course, Gino D'Acampo being a very high-profile TV personality and chef. Well, in this documentary aired last night, they claim that dozens of women have come forward making allegations about Gino D'Acampo, which range from intimidation as well as...
How we get intimidated by him?
And distressing behaviour.
Distressing.
D'Acampo has denied all of these claims. He has issued a statement in response to the ITV documentary, which I can share with you now. It says, I have never been made aware of these matters previously, and the allegations are firmly denied. I would not do anything that I thought would upset or distress anyone. This is simply not in my nature. I do not recognise the version of events being put to me. I am a father, husband, and have worked with well over 1,500 people on around 80 productions in my career, which I have been so proud of. I take such matters extremely seriously, and the suggestion that I've acted in an improper way is deeply upsetting. Now, some of the TV production companies which have worked with Gino D'Acampo in the past have also issued statements saying that they do take these concerns seriously, and Sky News has also approached Gino D'Acampo's team for a statement too.
Thank you very much, Shaman.
Right, it's an absolute crock of shit. And would have been, will they say intimidated?
Yeah.
Like, by what measurement? You know, nothing would probably intimidate us in terms of someone giving you a bit of stick. I mean, how do you...
But again, it's the same character type as the Greg Wallace type, where it's like, you know, as a chef... Actually, when I was head chef of the Italian, I did actually buy a Gino D'Acampo book because I was young and didn't know much about cooking, and bought one of his books. And it was all right, you know, he can cook food, but it wasn't anything mind-blowing. He's a TV personality more than he is a high-end chef.
And you gave that clear distinction last time.
Cheeky chappy, you know, and it's like, he's not, like when he goes on his tours with Fred Siriax and Gordon Ramsay, he's not there to cook serious food, he's there to entertain. Yeah, which, you know, is obviously what's going on here. But I mean, the one thing that I saw that was the main story that's been talked about with it is the fact that the comments that he said about Holly Willoughby. It's like, well, he's getting stick because he's answered a question. And I suppose that's the problem of, you know, he could have said, I decline to comment. But somebody said, who would you rather sleep with, her or her? And then he said, if put her head on her body, that'd do, you know.
That's like, funny.
He hasn't gone. He's not going out saying. He's not said that woman's got a terrible body, or that woman's got an ugly face, or whatever, or that even that he has any desire or any interest in having sex with either of them.
He likes attributes from both.
He's just been asked if you had to. What? Yeah. And it's like, well,
what kind of a question is that anyway?
And why is he the guy that's getting the stick for somebody asking him that question? And I don't know where the question was or what medium it was on, if it was on the TV or whatever. But again, it's that we discussed in the email from Dave Etta the other week about, stress chefs and stuff and like the industry and how it works. And you think, well, he obviously, when they say it's inappropriate, it's like when I said about how people talk to each other in a kitchen, it might be seen as inappropriate, but it's not. If you're snappy with somebody or you're telling them something, or I think they mentioned that he's bullying and stuff, and it's like his response to say, I don't recognise that. I haven't gone out of my way to offend anybody. I'm trying to make light of situations and have fun. I'm not trying to upset anybody, which I think is different to the Greg Wallace one, because like you said with him, he's putting his balls in someone's face or sexually harassing someone and stuff, and it's like, well, that. Like, fair play if he's doing that, as we said at the time, like, throw him under the bus.
If he's doing it, yeah.
If he's doing it. Gino's one just sounds like he's said something that's, he's now getting
slightly
rated for. And
what the hell does that?
And Gordon Ramsay's apparently fallen out of him now, and they're not going to present.
Ramsay's in no position.
I know. I don't know whether they're actually genuine Ramsay things, whether that's just the
gossip,
media being the media.
Yeah, that's a media gossip.
Oh, I'm offended by things. It's like you've made a career out of offending people and being downright horrible.
His career should be over, but because he doesn't care, they don't seem to go after him.
No, it's weird, isn't it? Because, Gino, like I say, how would you be intimidated by him? He's about 3 foot high and he's a little cheeky chappy Italian.
It's just Italian, isn't it? It's a cultural thing. And then it's just like, it's Italians for you.
Yeah. Strange.
All right, not guilty.
Well, I don't think so.
He's in my Hall of Fame now. He's under my protection.
he's all right, isn't he?
I'll get cancelled instead.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Well, I mean, that's all we've already got on that. And I suppose because we're actually relatively up to date on this one, unlike Greg when it was sort of 3 months after we mentioned it, at least. This is relatively...
But we're going to watch that documentary.
Yeah, I don't know what the documentary is they're talking about, but obviously someone's offended somewhere.
Certainly not Gordon Ramsay, as if he cares.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I suppose it's just a... well, apparently, Gino's son is currently sleeping with Gordon's daughter, and Gino was saying online on another bit I read that he said, I really, really enjoy winding Gordon up to say, oh, I hear that your daughter's with my son. So that goes really well, just to really sort of cheer him up. But yeah, so that is the amuse-bouche for this evening.
All right, on to the next course. Hope you're still hungry.
And a complete change of pace, tempo and everything else that's going on with this. I got to get the smile off my face a minute, because that bit's amusing.
So something serious.
Starter's not so cheery. So starter, because it's main course in its structure in my head, but it's too big to be a main course right now. We need to break it down more. But basically, recent events, a few days back, a friend of mine in Scots who went to school with, one of my best mates growing up, and a big tie to the food world for me, because I learned a lot about cooking from his family. And he worked in the industry, but he's had a tough ride like many people have. And found out last week he's no longer with us, which is terribly sad. But mental health in kitchens, but the hospitality, I mean, let's face it, mental health in the world's pretty knackered, but we're focusing on kitchens here and whatnot. Just, I don't know how we break that down into sections, because mental health is one thing. Alcohol with mental health, drugs, energy drinks, they're terrible, and vaping. Self-harming. All of that. It's hard, and
Depression,
all that. The interesting thing, I was chatting to one of the other chefs yesterday in work, and I was saying, really sad news, a friend of mine's passed away, etc. And he said, literally had 2 friends in the last week die. Oh, hell. And it's like, and I think one of his worked in the industry, one didn't, but I was like, so that's 3 guys, and the guy I was chatting to is 30 odd. So we're 30, 40, whatever. And it's like, that's 3 guys in our age range in a week who are no longer with us. Yeah. And I was chatting to a real close friend of mine the other day as well, and he was sort of in a low point. Other people, a lot of people know, a lot of things going on, but like how our industry makes it worse. Make it worse isn't fair, but how
contributes to it.
Yeah, and the stresses of the job, the relentlessness of it and stuff. Because
politics.
Oh yeah. Me and you, we've worked in places. There was there was a waitress once upon a time who didn't turn up for work, and it was like, there was she got a lot of stick at work for certain things, and it was like, came to work one day and...
Well, I remember her. So when we were working with her, you could tell there was something wrong in the eyes, and I'd spotted it for a while, and I said to you in the office, you've got to come out and meet her. I'm not sure if I'm gauging it right, but just have a look. And she was very unpopular with the people around her, and because she's obviously closed off, they were giving her a bit of shit. They were, you know what girls are like when they group up and they start bitching about each other, and then the guys were moaning at her as well. And then you gave her that big cuddle, didn't you?
I love a big cuddle.
Because you thought that would cheer up, and she just pretty much wrapped her arms around you. And then...
to be fair, me and you got on with her quite well, and she sort of got to the point of saying, highlight my week is coming to work and seeing you guys because you always cheer me up and all the rest of it. She had
that desperate look in her eyes, but you'd have to know what you're looking for to see it.
Yeah. But then, we came to work one day and it's like, she ain't going to be here anymore because she's not here anymore. And it's like
she'd done herself in.
Yeah. And I think there was a guilt from all the restaurant staff, the people that work there and things, rather than realising that obviously it wasn't just them, it was her own situation and stuff. But it was... it was the first time I've ever worked with someone who then didn't turn up for work because of that. But it's a big problem in the industry. It's a big problem worldwide anyway. But it's good now that I say it's good. We've got the Burnt Chef project, which has grown a huge momentum in recent years. It's a charity that's out there sort of for mental health in hospitality, in kitchens, because they're such a place. I mean, so people go into kitchens and they're like this dark back house place, and they don't really have a voice, and they just live in this little world of despair. I mean, obviously there's good parts to kitchens, but there are also dark places and stuff.
There are some dungeons out there.
Yeah, and
grotty dungeons with an awful atmosphere.
Yeah, and if you're in a kitchen that's not good, then I suppose it's just as a non-smoker, right?
Oh, we're not coming back to that.
Yeah. But often, certainly this time of the year, often I'll go to work, it's dark, and I come out when it's dark. I don't go outside because why do I need to go outside? You don't see daylight for the whole day. You don't get any fresh air for the whole day. We've mentioned you don't get a break in the whole day.
Yeah.
And it's and I'm in a good place mentally, it's fine by me. But if you're not, and you're just in that, and it's this constant repetition of stuff, it's hard. So, yeah, So this is just a starter. Well, we need to break it down. We need to figure out because
Well, we can visit these, and I've got plenty of stories.
I can get right on my horse at many a point on the drinks, the drugs, the energy drinks, all the rest of it.
Well, there's plenty of stuff we've seen.
Yeah,
there's 30 stories straight away coming into my head of all those different things, from energy drinks, drugs, alcohol, violence, depression. I'm not going to count anxiety.
Not fair.
For me, that is a non-issue. And I will turn everyone against me for that. I don't care. As soon as I see it on the TV, some trout saying, but I do have anxiety. I'll piss off. No. What does that even mean, anxiety? You're anxious. Why? What is it? If I put some cuddly little kittens in front of you, I'm sure that most of that will die off while you get absorbed into it. There's a problem happening. Getting anxious about something or someone is a perfectly normal human reaction. We all get anxious.
That is a problem.
Times.
I mean, that on the
just to say I have anxiety is a complete blanket term that doesn't mean anything.
Well, that's the a issue on the mental health spectrum of things, isn't it? Because people say that I'm suffering with this, that, the other, but it's almost like I suppose nowadays if you're sad about something or you're anxious about something or whatever, that it's like people consider that there's something wrong. If some bad shit's happened and you're really sad, you can be depressed. Depressed as in you're really low because life's really bad right now.
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily mean I get there's people that suffer from depression and they get themselves in a really dark state. But if those people get help, get yourself whatever, there's usually a trauma or something that's happened that's caused them to be this way, and then that's whatever. But it's crack on, you deal with that. But then the people that are it's a throwaway term of I'm depressed. It's no, what's happened here is this happened, and your ex has got a new boyfriend. And
as a result of
and
that,
you're this, and
I'm afraid to go outside.
You're depressed. No, you're not. You've just had a shit time.
Yeah.
Like,
if it's the type of anxious that people are thinking of, where they're afraid to go outside, afraid of human contact, lock themselves away completely, that to me is a tiny minority. I get that, but as a tiny minority, when someone's taking endless amounts of Instagram pictures of themselves, slutted up in front of a mirror, and then tell me that they're anxious or they've got anxiety, piss off. No, I don't believe it. I think it's a crock of horse shit. But the genuine people who lock themselves away and afraid to even pick up the phone, or the doorbell rings and they freak out, I get that. But to me, that is a tiny minority of people. It's usually those plastic looking duck faces that all have the same eye makeup, same stupid face.
It's always women with you, isn't it?
Well, men don't dress like that, do they? So what can I do?
Well, they do. This is the 21st century, my friend.
Yeah, but I'm a dinosaur.
Talking of which,
I'll be dead at some point, and then someone more modern will take over.
We've strayed slightly here, but did you hear about the mountain in New Zealand, which has now been given the rights the same as a human? Which I think is quite an interesting flip on its head, because you hear about people that identify as inanimate objects, whether it's true or it's just hearsay. I don't know. People say, I identify as whatever. And you've got people that identify as animals. They're called furries or the rest of it. But now there's a mountain in New Zealand that has now got the same rights as a human. I don't really understand how it works, but because it's a mountain, it obviously can't, there's certain things it does have issues with. It can't do certain things that a human can do. So it has a group of people, a society of people that make decisions on behalf of the mountain, but it does now, a week or two ago, it got protected status, so it now does have the same rights as a human being, even though it's a mountain.
It's just absurd.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, hang on, we're not moving on just yet.
Oh, okay.
Because, all right, fair enough, you're going to grill me that I'm bollocking women too much. That's fine.
Yeah.
Let's take on the men then.
All right.
Because they'll do my head in even more. The guys you see on Love Island or Made in Chelsea and all that, total trash, garbage human beings that I have no interest in whatsoever. That's why I don't talk about them, because they are non-entities as far as I'm concerned. If I was watching that, Love Island would have a completely different production process. I'd have it, mid-30s, 1930s German style, where if you're kicked off the program, you actually die. And I wouldn't shed a tear for them. That plastic sort of non-realistic, shallow, horrible, grotty, show-busy twat. I've no empathy for. I don't care what happens to them. There you go. See, I do go after men as well.
Well, I mean, don't just stroke the surface. Say what you really feel.
I can't stand half the TV. I really can't.
Don't watch it. It's bad for you. Yeah. Anyway, so that was my start. We need to figure out when we ever get around to sorting things out and having a structure. Yeah. We need to figure out how we get to because to say mental health, whatever, it's a bit of a topic. So how you break that down, because today's main course, we're discussing tips. Now that's relatively targeted and you can have some stories, both sides, counter arguments, etc. about it. Whereas like mental health, I mean, obviously, the I'm feeling a bit anxious versus someone that's like in a crisis, it's very different. But
yeah.
But then the effects of that and that's
the distinction I'm making.
And the rest of it.
It's not as if I'm without empathy. I am making that clear distinction.
You are always without empathy.
Someone who is actually in crisis to someone who is using a throwaway term to get more upvotes.
Fair. So rest in peace, those who've left us, and we now must move on to the main course.
Main course.
Tips.
Ooh.
Now, contentious everywhere.
Especially the cash ones.
Oh,
actually, no, the ones you get in your pay packet, the backs ones, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the tronc.
The tronc, yeah. Because you get tax on it, whereas the cash ones, you don't.
They're illegal.
Yeah, they're illegal.
Don't talk about those.
Oh, we don't. We
can talk about it now, but they don't talk about when they get them, do they? I say they because, let's face it, they always go to the restaurant staff, and if the kitchen get given a pittance, it's always an argument, isn't it?
Always 5% for the scullery maids.
It amazes me actually that I've worked in a number of places over my years. Everywhere does it differently. Everyone has a different system. Everyone has a different gripe or a different issue about it, and it's mad really, because I think from the diner perspective, if you're going out for dinner and you're giving someone a tip, you probably assume that there's a relatively universal code of what happens with that money, but it's entirely different. Like, I mean, if I listed off every different place I've worked and all the different tip systems that they've had, like, they're mental. Some of them are just, how did you go on with that? The place that I left in the summer recently, obviously we ran the restaurant. It was all done through us, et cetera, et cetera. So all the tips came through. You know, if a tip was left on a day, it would just split out on the day. It was in today, split it out, job done. And anything that came through on the cards, then it was like, okay, we'd figure them out. They'd get put in their pay packet once a quarter, jobs are good. The guy previously who owned the place, who ran the restaurant last year when I wasn't there, some of the staff were the same lot, and they worked all hard all through the year and stuff. And they saw all the tips going through, and oh, okay, fine. Like, we've taken, like, there must be a couple of grand in the tip pot, happy days. And he says, oh, don't worry, end of the season, I'm going to pay that all out, lovely, whatever. And he gave them £100 Amazon voucher. And they're like, well, hold on.
What the hell is that? Yeah.
A, I don't want an Amazon voucher. B, it's considering more than £100. He's like, well, most of the people have left. Well, exactly. There's about two staff left. You've given us £100 Amazon voucher each, and the rest of it you've pocketed yourself because you're just a greedy owner. But it happens. People do stuff. There's places I've worked where if there's been a breakage, well, it's come out of the tips. There was a place in Truro where our mate's missus went to work there, and they had to take in their own kitty. So they'd have to start this. They had like a little bum bag or whatever, and they had to bring in their own change to keep in there. So then they had to deal with their own tips. It was entirely done separately, but it was like, well, you have to turn up with your float already in your tip thing so that you can sort it out. Just bizarre.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
The first place that where we first have worked together, a big hotel over on the south coast of Cornwall.
Somewhere.
They did very well for tips because it's considered the epitome of British hospitality.
Oh, that place.
They did very well on tips, but their tip structure, I don't know if it is now, but certainly 20 odd years ago, like the KPs and the chambermaids got the highest cut of the tips because they were like, they've got the shittiest jobs, they get the highest cut of the tips. And there was a sliding scale that went all the way down to if you worked as a porter or a waiter, you got the lowest cut of the tips because they knew you were getting it cash in hand. So all of the stuff that came through the bank was all done, you know, on a sliding scale. So the better your job was, or the nicer perceived your job was, the lower your cut of tips was, which it was a really good, fair system. But, you know, I've worked places where, you know, the restaurant staff are like, well, we're taking all the tips and chefs get nothing. And then
I've worked there.
You feel like an arse because you're going, yeah, but hold on. Like, that's, you know.
The tipping for the food as well, and the quality and the workload that goes into it.
Yeah. Well, they have the opinion of like the tip is for the service. And it's like, well, we're giving good service. We get that. But it's like, I say, well, if you're giving good service, they're going to give you a tip. Fine. But it's like, but if you give them crap food, then they won't come back. So the next time they come in and tip, they've tipped you for the service, but they've also come in for the meal because they wanted the food. And it's like,
I tip for the food as well.
Exactly.
I have it in my mind. I enjoyed the food, and I enjoyed and the waiting staff these days usually want a tip. And when I've been out there, I don't get great service. They're polite. Yeah. They don't go out of their way for me. They just sort of ignore me until I need something.
Just doing their job.
They just do their job. So I don't understand this. And we're not America where you've got to survive off the tip. So I don't understand where you must have seen it 100 times. So you go out, here's your table, thank you. Yeah. And then let me know when you're ready to order at the bar or whatever. But that's about all you see of them. And then expect a tip. What?
The strange, I mean, a lot of places nowadays just have an enforced tip on there, and it's like, it makes it really awkward. I don't like it because it will sort of say 10 or 12.5 or 15% discretionary charge has been added to your bill for the service.
Yeah, you walk of shame to tell them.
So then you have to go and say, yeah, can you take that off, please, because it was crap. But like, and therefore a lot of people don't tell them to take it off. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't get tips, but it's like, you shouldn't enforce it because now you've got our backup. If you're telling me I've got to pay a tip, well, now I'm going to be picking holes and everything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, whereas if it's my choice, then fair enough. But when we ran the restaurant in Truro, the person who ran the front of the house was adamant that the tips only went to the restaurant staff. I was like, okay, great. Well, not to say they didn't work hard, but they had a fairly relaxed job workload. You know, they'd usually come in, start work, make themselves a latte, have a lie down for half an hour on one of the seats, whack some tunes on, and then like quarter of an hour before service would start, they might actually pretend to clean a toilet. And like it got to the point, so one of the chefs, our friend, the the legendary podcaster who lives in France now.
Oh yeah,
he applied for a job in the restaurant as a waiter. So he was our pastry chef. He applied for a job as a waiter. And then he told me, he goes, sorry, chef, I've applied for a job in the restaurant. I said, why? And he goes, well, my missus works in the restaurant. And I mean, we're going back a few years now, you know, when I'd say minimum wage was probably around about $7.50 an hour at this point. And he said, well, she's walking away with about between £15 and £18 an hour on average for all of her shifts. And he was working in the kitchen. He was like, I'm taking home about £11 an hour, and I've been a chef for 10, 12 years. I've got all the skill, all this training, all the rest of it. If I went and worked in the restaurant, still been in the same place, I still work with all the same people, happy days, I'll be getting £5 an hour more than I'm getting now, and I've just got to be a waiter. Like, I haven't got to do any stress. I haven't got to worry about this thing. And it's like, and that's not to say that our job is more skilled than theirs. Obviously it is. It's not to say that they don't work as hard as us. Obviously they don't. But but to say, well, I can get a £5 an hour pay rise by going there purely because none of the tips are shared with the back of house.
Yeah.
It's just a mental concept. And like, I had to have a really honest conversation. Say, look, we've got to do something about this tip situation, because I've now got a chef threatening to quit to go and be a waiter just because he'll get more money because of the amount of tips that you guys are taking. So I can't remember if we changed it before she left and we had a new general manager or what, but we changed it all around. But it's...
Well, they wouldn't be coming there to that restaurant in the first place if the food was crap.
No.
You wouldn't go out somewhere with crap food just because you like service, unless it's cheap, i.e. Wetherspoons. But if you're going to
you're going to tip anyway.
Yeah, you can get a tip there anyway. So... yeah, they wouldn't come out if the food was crap. So that is a big part of it.
Well, because I feel like more so than normally, I'm rambling more than you here, or I'm talking more than you. What's your...
Yeah, but...
tell me an interesting story about you, Ved, with tips.
I've woken up on the wrong side of bed, though, clearly, by the look...
You have got a bit of a cold. He's got a proper little man.
I am choked up. And you can probably tell in the last course... before I'd even got a napkin to wipe my face, I've already upset probably, I don't know, however many percentage of listeners. I've already been a chauvinistic pig. I don't care. But yeah, I'm choked up, and I'm sure you're very, very sorry for me, but I'm absolutely... It's not China virus. I don't know what it is, but I know everybody blames it all on that, but I'm just generally got a cold, so I'm whingy and moany. And that's why I sound weird, I should imagine. Although I usually sound weird.
So you think we should have more tips as well, I say?
No, I want a more contentious issue on it.
All right, go on then. Hit me.
The justification of taxing it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, in the beginning, we were like, I can't believe they're taxing us. This is, the handout for the work we've done. But then you're taxed for that anyway. And the government, even with green policies these days, tries to tax the air you breathe. They always said you can't tax the air. Well, they can with that. They want every revenue they can get. They even tax second-hand cars, even though the tax has already been paid on it when it was brand new, and you've got to pay the tax again. But should you be taxed on the trunk and the cash? I mean, the cash is obviously very difficult, and I'm sure they want to phase cash out as soon as possible because they can't track it all. But yeah, getting taxed on it. It is a handout, a gesture of, I really enjoyed this. This is a personal little from me to you. I'm not paying for a service. I'm not paying for another item to come for me for free. I'm just giving this to you to say thank you. Why should you be taxed on it? But then again, as I've said before, if the gutter cleaner turns up and he says, you know what, I'll just cut your grass for you while I'm here. And you're like, oh, what a nice guy, I'll give him 30 quid. Well, he's going to get trashed because he's just given a service, isn't he? Because he's a business. So
cash in hand, yeah.
How does it work? And how do you justify it?
Well, tricky, isn't it? I was, when I did my licensee course, I had a discussion with them and they were talking about holiday homes. They were like, if you go to like a high-end, like self-catering holiday home, you might find that when you arrive, they've put a bottle of wine on the table and said, enjoy your week's stay sort of thing. And that's a similar thing. It's like, it's actually illegal for them to do that unless they've got a license. No, well, I got quite into an argument, as you can imagine. I was like, well, how? And they're like, well, they're selling you alcohol and they're not licensed to sell alcohol.
But they're not selling it.
They're not selling it. They're giving it to you. No, they're not. They said, they've not just come round to your house and randomly given you a bottle of wine. They've given you the bottle of wine because you've booked to stay on the holiday cottage. I said, right. They said, so as a part of the condition of sale, and it's like, does this holiday cottage do it for everyone, or was it just you? Did they know you especially? I said, no, I didn't know. I mean, I just turned up and they had a bottle of wine on the table. They're like, well, therefore, you can deduce from that they probably do that for everybody. They probably say, everyone that stays here gets a bottle of wine. It's a nice gesture. here's some scones, some jam and some cream, and a bottle of wine. Enjoy your week in Cornwall. Lovely. But they said, well, it's a condition of sale then, because if they do it for everybody that stays with them, then it's part of their remit, part of their process of what is part of the product they offer. So they're charging you whatever. They're charging you 500 quid a week to stay in this luxury holiday cottage, but it includes a bottle of wine. So they are selling you wine. And they said, without them having a license to sell alcohol, they're breaking the law. Anyway, that's a bit of a stray from the tips, but it's a similar vibe. But can I say on the tip thing that the place where I used to work up in Wales had the best tip system of anywhere that I've ever worked, bar none. Brilliant system. So the restaurant staff were actually all good, which is rare, I know, but they were all on it. Like, you know, there was never a question of how many plates you carry, and they'd do 5 each at any time. It was never an issue. And they would work the tables really well. They'd run the restaurant really well. Like, there was one Italian and the rest were Turkish. I think I mentioned them all last week. I don't know why.
Did, yeah.
Anyway, they were actually bloody good at their jobs. You know what I mean? They were on it. But they used to keep all their own tips. It's like, fine. They take all the tips. The chefs get nothing. Absolutely fine when you hear the backstory behind it. So they take all their tips. But then the owner of the restaurant, so I was head chef, and the owner of the restaurant was very on board with this system, which was whereby the restaurant staff could give the chefs tips. So if they've got, you know, like, say it was an Italian, as I probably mentioned. So if someone comes in and says, I want 2 spaghetti bolognese, they go and sit in the window seats. They've got one of the nicest tables in the restaurant. They sit down, good evening, lovely, nice to see you. And they go, we'll get 2 bologneses and 2 glasses of tap water. The waiter's going, like, there goes my good tip for the evening. These guys aren't going to give me anything, because for them, they worked for their tips. That was their thing. So then he now comes in the kitchen. He comes up to the chef and he says, right, table 1, bang, 2 bolognese. If you can get them out in 2 minutes, there's a £5. Okay, fine. So we made the bolognese sauce in batches. You get a bolognese order, you're going to get a ladle of bolognese sauce out of the countertop fridge, straight into a pan, straight on the gas burner. Within 2 minutes, it's boiling its nuts off, passed from the pasta boiler in a bowl. You can have it out in 2 minutes, no problem. Yeah. That's his plan. You get it out, it's done in 2 minutes, and not too big a portion, you know, easy on the portion. They get them out, put them on the table, bang. The second they even look like they're near to finishing, he's cleared their table. Thank you, here's your bill, goodbye, out you go. He's got his table back in half an hour, he's happy. Equally, somebody comes in and says, they say, we'd like some cocktails, we want this, we want that, whatever. They order a nice bottle of wine. He comes in the kitchen and goes, right, table 5. They're spending money, they want this, they want that, whatever. Can you knock them up a little pre-start or something? So quite often they'd be like, okay, we just cook off a fillet steak, thinly slice a fillet steak on a bit of rocket, some little garlic croûtes, whatever, a little bit of oil and balsamic, and then they're paying me for that. So then the waiter's giving me a tenner. Here's a tenner. Thank you very much for the fillet steak. Wonderful. He takes the fillet steak over the table, puts it down in the middle of the table. It's a table of 5. A little gift from the chef. So now the table of 5 have just got their fillet steak. They're going, awesome. We just got a free fillet steak. Incredible scenes. The owner of the restaurant knew all about this, and he was like, yeah, but you give them that free fillet steak. All right, it's going to hit your GP a bit, but they're really happy. Now they're ordering a better bottle of wine. Now they're definitely having 3 courses, and they're going to stay the night, and they're going to have cocktails and all the rest of it. And it was like there was this bartering system between, like, how quickly can you get that out? How nice can you make that? How can you do this? How can you do that? Somebody's ordered a steak, but do you know what? He quite likes a bit of surf and turf, this guy. So any chance you could chuck a handful of king prawns, do some garlic king prawns, there's a £5. And so you could earn tips as a chef, but you would be working for the waiter.
Everyone wins.
It was a brilliant system. Yeah, and if it was just a run-of-the-mill service and we'd not really done anything out of the ordinary, then you wouldn't really get any tips. But on the days where they needed something or whatever, they would come in and give you a little, there's that, can you sort this out quick? And it's like, and from the restaurant owner's point of view, like, I spoke to him because I was quite a young head chef, and I was like, this is a big restaurant, there's a lot going on here. I spoke to the owner and I said, how do you feel when they come in and say they want extra king prawns for free or fillet steak for free, all these little bits? It was absolutely fine, because he trusted the restaurant staff implicitly that they knew what they were doing. And so it was yin and yang, and it worked.
It's a better restaurant, a reputation at the end of it.
Yeah. Joe, my brother, I mean, this is a bit off tips, but similar vein. He was working in a hotel years and years ago, and he was a junior manager or something. And they had a comp account. So it was like, if anything goes tits up, you've got the comp account, you can comp something. It's like, okay, fine. Cool, no worries. And like he said, you know, if there's a guest that you want to treat them, comp account. If something's gone wrong, comp account, whatever. And sorry, my brother Ashley and this other guy, there's the two of them who are both junior managers. And the big boss goes, right, can I have a chat with you 2 minutes? I want to talk about the comp account. Yeah, fine. Gets him in the office or wherever they are. And he's chatting about it. He goes, right, in the last month, I say, he goes, you two comp accounts. He goes, between you've spent 2,000 quid. So one of you has comped 1,900 quid's worth of champagne, this. The other one has comped a few half pints of Coke. Is that okay? It's like, well, the guy, not my brother, the guy that was comping a few half pints of Coke, he's like, right, you've basically just given yourself some free Coke. Like, you're a dick. It's like, says Ashley, right, this one here was a bottle of high-end champagne. What was that for? So, oh, well, there was somebody in for a wedding, and it was a high-end wedding. They were having a boat down from Charlestown or something. They were going in there and they were doing this whole thing. And it was like, Ash was like, yeah, you know, the guy was quite a large life character. He was spending a lot of money, all the rest of it. And Ash was like, have a bottle of champagne from us or whatever. And, this was like a 250 quid bottle of champagne or something. And we're going back 25 years ago now as well. And like the boss said, you know, perfect. Exactly what the comp account is for. Like, didn't bat an eye about the cost of it, because he's like, you've comped the right way here. You're not, oh, there's been a complaint about a steak, so I've knocked someone's pint off the bill. It's like you're comping ahead of time. You're going, this is going to make your experience even better, which is exactly what happened in that Italian restaurant. Like, have a fillet steak for yourself.
Make them feel $1 million.
Yeah, like, you're already spending a load of money with us. You've clearly got enough money to buy a 250 quid bottle of champagne, but do you know what? Have a bottle of champagne. And that's, yeah, it makes a difference, doesn't it? That whole thing. But I think the tip part of it, my point from the Italian, that was just, it worked really well, because everybody got, I was going to say what they deserved. That it's a real hard thing, because how do you decide who deserves what and whatever? But like, yeah. Yes, the restaurant staff work for the tips, but I suppose nowadays, like, it's different because the minimum wage is so damn high. So it makes a difference, because it used to be that the minimum wage was really low. So therefore, the chefs would inherently be on a stronger wage than the restaurant staff, because you could say, you know, it's a more skilled profession. You've had to train, you've had to do this, and the other. So you say, okay, well, a chef probably earns a more premium wage than a member of the restaurant team. However, now with the minimum wage being the way it is, it's like, well, the restaurant team and the chefs
condense that
don't really earn much different.
It's brought it in together, isn't it?
And if the restaurant staff are creaming all the tips, then in reality, what's happening is your restaurant staff who are 16, 17 years old, still in college, are earning more per hour than your chef in the kitchen that's been doing the job for 15 years.
And I just want to let you guys know that we will cover stories of stuff getting sent back, rightfully or wrongfully.
Oh, send back. That's good.
And we will also cover, and we've got a few stories to tell on that one, but also we will cover wages as well.
Wages?
Yeah, I want to talk
about
wages.
What are we discussing on that?
We'll find out. I've got a few things I want to talk about with that.
We got a dessert sent back last night.
Hang on, you got to save this for episode 8.
Well, it's not the most exciting story in the world, but it came back and they said, sorry, the woman's a bit worried as to what this is in her dessert. And I looked at it, I was like, it's a stone from a date. It was sticky toffee pudding. I said, somehow there's obviously a date has gone through, which has still got a stone in it. Terribly sorry and whatever. I then did a little pop quiz with the youngster of the kitchen and said, now, what sort of a contaminant is that? And he said, there's 3 types of contaminant, and he managed to know that, which was fine. But then he said, because I've been hassling him to listen to the podcast, because, you know, that's pretty much my life now. I just hassle people to listen to our podcast so that someone listens to it. But I'm like, I send it all back and whatever, and he goes, well, at least it wasn't a wild Cornichon. I said exactly that.
The wild Cornichon.
So, yeah, we'll do that another day. But tips, I'd be interested to know, like, if anybody ever wants to talk to us or message us, from the consumer point of view, because the staff point of view, like, we all get it. And restaurant staff think they deserve everything.
Yeah.
Chefs are very happy if it could just be a kind of a 50-50 arrangement between kitchen porters, chefs, everybody, because then it's just even and fair. But from the consumer point, if you're going into a restaurant as a guest and you're buying food and you're given a tip, obviously you hate the fact that you have the enforced ones because everyone hates those. But if you give a tip, where do you presume it's going? Where would you want it to go? Yeah,
I would like to know the rationale behind it. Is it you're complimenting the food, the service, or both? Or what's your mindset behind it? So do write in.
And do they think that, do people genuinely think, I suppose they don't even think about it, they just give a tip and go, oh, that's that. But
is the staff for everyone, or is it just the restaurant staff? That's what I would really like to know.
I remember talking to my auntie about it once, and she was sort of saying to me, she's like, I just always presumed it just gets split everywhere. And it's like, very much depends on the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's tips.
All right, let's get to dessert.
Afters. If I don't finish choking here. Afters, right. So, now, you owe the people an apology, Scott.
Right. I'll probably play more fitting music. I'm sorry. So the last episode, I was whinging and moaning at people not making an effort. That was before you had man flu. Yeah, and now I'm all choked up because I'm so apologetic. I've even made myself ill with worry.
It's your anxiety.
But, okay, I'm very anxious now. I do owe an apology for last week's episode. Because I accuse lots of people of not bothering to write in, and, you know, they're always on the phone to spend 5 minutes to ask us a question, tell us a story, anything. And it turns out that while I was looking in the inbox tonight, I thought, oh, there's a junk folder. Oh, it's got a number next to it. So if we haven't read out your message, because I've only just spotted it, so bear with me. Over the next few episodes, we will go through them. But I'd just like to apologise for ranting at you lot out there. Turns out I'm not very tech savvy. I'm still on my Game Boy.
But you are going to include in the description the actual address so that people can see it more as well going forward.
Yes, I will start to.
Because that was mentioned by Tom and Josie back in the first episode. It was mentioned by Benji the other week as well, saying if you put it there, that's what real podcasters do. Can you two cowboys actually sort your life out? So
I can copy and paste, can't I, to each one? Yeah, I will do that.
lettersforcheckon@hotmail.com, and we'll chat the junk box.
Okay.
So today, I'm going to read it out today because you don't deserve to read it out and you've got a poorly voice.
Oh.
So, hi Darren and Scott, I've got a story for you. The Chicken Magician. I was once working in a hotel restaurant with these two chefs who happened to be the best of friends. Let's call them Sean and Doug. On this particular evening, Sean was on sauce and Doug was on the pass. An entertaining evening to say the least. At the end of service, Doug shouts out, "Hey dickhead, where's the chicken I need for this last check? I've got all the veg, but no chicken." Sean, defeated, obviously didn't have the chicken, and on this rare occasion had already cleaned down his section, turned off the ovens and packed away. He was not impressed, but suddenly his face lit up. And he said, "Yes, chef, minute and a half." Sounds like something you do, to be honest.
That is minute and a half. It's always a minute and a half if I haven't put it on.
And what unfolded in front of me is something I will never forget. Sean walks towards the microwave and grabs a plate grabs a plate on his way, singing and dancing as if he isn't about to do something absolutely criminal. He then proceeded to stick his grubby hands into his filthy right trouser pocket.
What?
And right there in front of us all, pulled out a half-cooked chicken breast from his pocket. He put it on the plate and then pinged it in the mic.
Oh, gosh. Oh, that is absolutely horrendous.
Then for about 30 seconds, the chicken went onto the char grill to get some colour in inverted quotes. Keep in mind the grill's been off for at least half an hour. Then confidently, Sean walked over and handed the anemic chicken breast to Doug and said, "Just let it sit under the lights a bit, chef, it needs to rest." He then ripped off his apron and conveniently disappeared for a fag. Never seen anything like it. The Chicken Magician. Love the podcast. Cheers. No name at the bottom.
Oh.
Why would you get a chicken breast in your pocket?
Chicken breast in the pocket. I wonder if he started to cook it, then thought, oh, he cooked it, and then thought, what the hell is that for? And then decided to pocket it and take it home with him so he could eat it, and then realised he needed it.
I've never pocketed anything that I've been cooking. Certainly not a half-cooked chicken breast.
Why would you want that in your pocket? Oh, that is rank.
Well, I started reading that, and it said
juice and everything all running down his. Oh, that is grim.
When I started reading that, and it said 2 chefs are the best of friends and stuff, and then I got to the minute and a half. I thought that was me and you, but I can definitely certify that has never happened.
A chicken magician.
Why would you even put it on a char grill that's been off for half an hour? I mean,
yeah,
you get a blowtorch on it.
I was just going to say, blow it, or or if the grill is still on, put it right up near the elements.
I mean, put it in the fryer if nothing else, it's something.
But if it's going in, surely you would just grill it.
I want to know what the rest of the dish was now. I'm a bit interested.
Yeah.
What's this chicken breast going with?
That chicken goes into the microwave, and you know what's going to happen. It's just going to tense right up, and then it starts spitting and banging everywhere. And then it's going to go on the lukewarm char grill, so it can just look even more defeated. And then up on the pass to rest. Rest from what?
It needs to rest.
It needs to rest from a microwave.
It's sat in my pocket all evening.
Well, he's semi-urinating himself by the sounds of it. If he's going to do something that dirty, he's obviously doesn't clean himself properly.
Yeah, into his filthy right trouser pocket. So,
that is going to be disgusting.
I was going to say not even anybody that's got good hygiene practices, but anyone that's putting a raw chicken breast in your pocket, you've got some serious issues there, haven't you?
Yeah, he's taking that home to eat it, or he's got no food at home, so he's stealing
a half cooked chicken breast
in your pocket. Oh, you dirty bastard!
And I'm not blaming it that all smokers are the same, but it then does say when I off his apron and he went for a fag. So obviously it's straight for smokers.
We didn't get a report of did the chicken come back. Anyone in their right mind would send that back.
Yeah. I mean, if you just had a microwave chicken breast, you'd probably be like, that was pretty unpleasant, but okay. But you're not going to know the full story. No one's ever going to be telling you that's come out of the chef's pocket. Why would you want a chicken breast in your pocket? I can't get over that.
I think he's nicking it to take it home. There must be all eyes on you in that kitchen. I don't know.
Do you reckon it was in a vat pack bag in his pocket, or do you think it was just a...
I'm trying to think. If he was putting it in a vat pack bag and he's vacuuming it and it's the only breast there, people are walking past. Some busybody is always going to say, what are you doing? And then, why have you only got one chicken breast? Why are you vac packing that? And then questions are raised.
Yeah.
But then wrap it in a tea towel or something. Cling film it.
Well, just imagine the feeling of warm chicken jizz coming down my leg.
I reckon he's just a dirty bugger.
Yeah.
I reckon he's a nasty, dirty bugger. I mean, chicken breast in your pocket and then eat it. I mean, I'm assuming it's taking it home. I couldn't think of any other particular, unless you just want a doorstop.
But didn't say it pulled out a half-cooked chicken breast, so it wasn't even fully cooked. It is always the thing, though, isn't it? I mean, it's a genuine problem in kitchens when you get to the end of service and everyone's like, okay, we're on the last couple of checks. If you're going to get a check sent back, it'll be the last one because you haven't gone to that level and microwaved a chicken pocket.
No.
But something's gone slightly awry and you've done it and then you turn the char grill off and then the steak's undercooked.
We will come up with some cowboy stories. I've got a few for me.
I don't remember. Do you remember when we started doing brunch at the restaurant in Truro? Because it was like, let's do brunch. That'd be fun to do. And then there was the Hollandaise incident, which is, probably the last time that I've actually lost my temper in a kitchen. That was a good 10 years ago.
Hollandaise incident?
Yeah, because somebody came up and ordered eggs Florentine or something. And you were having a tidy up or something and you'd thrown away the Hollandaise. And I was like, why would you throw away the Hollandaise half an hour before the end of service? Like, why would you do that? We didn't have any more bookings. But throw it away when we finish service. You don't need to throw it away now.
Yeah.
And so I was pissed off. And then I was like, right, fine, I'll make another Hollandaise.
Oh no!
Then I'm trying to do another Hollandaise.
Hollandaise.
Quick bodge job of that, and then I made that, and then it split, and then I was like, well, "You can do it," and I just slammed it down.
It's always the one egg Hollandaise, and it would just you'd be in a panic and you just split it, and then do it again, and split it.
Tell you what, though, I'm a master of it now.
The one egg Hollandaise?
Yeah. I did last summer because it was like we only 18-bedroom hotel. You didn't need Hollandaise every day, so I just got in the routine of just making it to order. But we did say when that is we need to do that is that when we get the unit and when we get the video camera set up and we start doing some videos alongside our ramble, get people to do the Hollandaise challenge.
We will have to do that, but I still stand by the fact that on bulk, a 5 egg or a 10 egg or whatever you choose to do, or should I measure it by butter blocks?
You do it.
50 gram butter blocks. I mean, if you've got a 5 or 6 block hollandaise, I still stand by the fact that I'm the fastest one to put that together, because I go in so fast with that butter, and everyone around me is sweating like, well, that's going to split. No, that's going to split. And it doesn't. And then they hate me for it. I'm literally pouring it in there, but it always works.
Do you remember when I bodged together, which wasn't actually to be used, I did it just to upset James, because he's got a bit of a thing against salad cream. So therefore, I like salad cream.
I thought you were going to mention another one. I thought you were going to go after the... you can tell I'm ill. I can't think of the word. Cornmeal.
Cornflour?
No, cornmeal, yellow.
Polenta?
Polenta. When you put together that polenta cake on an emergency.
Oh, no, that was good. No, this was a...
Yeah. Well, we can't give away all these stories because I want a section on that. Cowboys. And I'll
Cowboys are us. Yeah! Well, no, so this one we'd run out of holidays, and I thought, I'm going to make a quick one. And then he had a hatred for salad cream. So I made the hollandaise quickly on the side. But then whilst I was doing that, I was working doubly fast because I was also having to make another hollandaise just to pretend to do a thing just for a good story, really.
Yeah.
So I give him this pan and he goes, what the hell is this? And I said, well, I didn't have time to do it properly, so I've just bodged this together. So then whilst he's looking into the pan, which is basically I've warmed up some salad cream, whisked some butter through it, and pretended it's hollandaise, I've then plated up with the real hollandaise I'd also made at the same time. Then he's believed that I've done that. He's then telling everyone what an absolute piece of shit I am because I've just sent out whisked up salad cream. No, I did actually make another one that's over here. But we could do with a cowboy section.
Yeah, I think a cowboy section. I think people have asked me for it as well. They want to hear the
disaster of the day.
The disaster of the day. In fact,
that people didn't notice. I mean, microwaved pocket chicken. That's problematic.
I think my fondant potato in less than, I think, 5.5 minutes. I think that was my fish pie in 15 minutes for staff food. That was a full.
You did a roast when we lived together years ago. You did a roast from there was a frozen chicken. I mean, the chicken was in the freezer, whole chicken, and that was 40 minutes, something like that.
40 minutes, yeah, something like that. Everyone like, how did he?
I don't want to eat this.
Yours is the polenta. There's loads of them. So yeah, we will do what are we going to call it?
Cowboy sessions.
Cowboy sessions. Yeah, we'll do 1 or 2 stories an episode or something, and we'll go through it. There's quite a few.
Do you know what? When we first set out to do this podcast, we were doing a mousse bouche, a starter, a main, a dessert, and a cheese. Right, and we haven't even got to the cheese yet.
Cheese is in season 2 or 3.
Oh, is it? We're still kicking with a season idea.
Would you prefer episode numbers, do you?
I couldn't give a monkey. Well, all I want is the fact that there was going to be a cheese board and it was going to contain music. And we both know that music is a huge passion for both of us.
All right, after episode 10.
And we need to get after episode 10.
So after episode 10, we'll do, or 10 to 19 or 11 till 20 or however you want to do it.
Right.
And then we'll add that section in there because then it changes it up a little bit.
Oh, okay, fine.
To be fair, we could do the cowboy stories in that unofficial season.
Oh, what, season 2?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't know, just boxing around ideas. If you guys want to hear the cowboy stuff now, well then fair enough. We'll just get on with it. And
we know enough cowboy stories, it's fine.
Oh my God, yeah, I'll keep going on that. I think you got half of them on me. I set out on this podcast to protect my ego. I thought, we're going to be like, but we can say how great we are and all that. And here we are, trashing ourselves, others, me in particular.
Women
and guys. Don't forget about the German influence on that. They get it worse.
And and we'll get the phone-ins going and all the rest of it. But I think that about wraps up
I think
the day.
This has gone on 56 minutes, so let's wrap it up and we'll do a phone call on the next episode.
Goodbye. Well, it's been emotional.
All right, so email
lettersforcheckon@hotmail.com.
That will be in the description. We'll make sure of it this time.
Amazing. And that's it. See you next week.
All right, take care.
Cheers.